Good morning. The June 1st Board of Education meeting is now in session. Please rise for the invocation. O God, we pray to administer that which is just in all educational policies, being ever mindful of your guidance, stir us to action with love, wisdom, and understanding.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2.03 is approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, item 2.04, establish agenda order, and the agenda stands as published. Item 2.05, recognitions. We don't have any recognitions today. And I don't think we're out here with our bells. We left on. 2.06 is Educator of the Month, but we need to go get some bells.
That's me, though. When we finish coughing.
Okay.
Okay. Parents are talking about the school where their children are nurtured every day. Many of them have posted comments on Twitter, comments like this: I have nothing but praise for this school. The teachers and staff are phenomenal. Or this: sometimes when you think it's impossible, they prove you wrong. They have exceeded my expectation. It takes a special person to run a special school, and at the helm of Ruth Parker Eason is an amazing principal, Patricia Kelly. Principal Kelly performs her duties with warmth, professionalism, and tremendous insight. She is dedicated to educating students with special needs, and she serves both students and staff in such a way that they know their concerns become her concerns. Mrs. Kelly is a leader who listens more than she talks. Because of her professional demeanor and tremendous talent for listening, she has found many innovative and inclusive solutions to unique problems by listening to as many sides of an issue as possible. Establishing and maintaining solid relationships with students, staff, and the community is a high priority for Principal Kelly. She values each person by maintaining an open dialogue and following up with them, no matter how many people are waiting to speak with her. She is approachable, always making herself available to all her students by having interactions throughout each school day. Mrs. Kelly has played an immense role in the development and implementation of Ruth Eason's PTO. Without her support and her leadership, there would not be a tremendous resource for parents and staff to pool resources and make positive changes in the success of her students. She has also implemented Points from Patty, a weekly email from the principal acknowledging the hard work of the many educators at Ruth Eason and current events in the school. This communication empowers the staff to be more involved and promotes a baseline of knowledge school-wide. It provides clear expectations that enable the school to perform more efficiently and with a high degree of professionalism. Principal Kelly has promoted growth in student and staff in many ways. She has reduced the number of required meetings and strengthened other means of communication so that staff issues are handled quickly and the focus can remain on student growth and development. Patricia Kelly, you embrace the individual needs of each member of your faculty and attempt to meet those needs and encourage growth with genuine understanding and compassion. You value the professional judgment of your teachers and therapists and promote collaborative planning and problem solving that ultimately results in a benefit to the students of Ruth Eason. So for these reasons and many more, the Board of Education is honored to recognize you Educator of the Month for June 2016. Congratulations. Please join me up front.
Congratulations. How did they get you here this morning?
Well, Alma said that I had to come related to something to her national board certification.
Well, there you go to have that. And who was here today?
Evidently, Alma is a teacher at our school, Dawn Lucarelli, my regional, and my husband Grant, and my friend Michelle.
Well, wonderful. Well, Ruth Eason is a very special place, and I know that you are a big part of that, so thank you.
I
There
appreciate
you go.
it.
Now you have a bell to keep them all in order. Thank you.
Thank you. I
And stick
appreciate
around
it.
where we're going to do pictures afterwards with your family.
Item 2.07 is Employee of the Month, Mr. Horskamp.
Thank you. In a large school system like AACPS, there are some behind-the-scenes roles that, when working properly, become transparent and therefore sometimes go unnoticed. The work of a transportation specialist can fall into this category. However, in the Chesapeake cluster, the transportation specialist, Hugh Cooksey, is impossible to miss. His hard work, dedication, collaboration, and attention to detail ensure that every transportation need is taken care of. Even if he is extremely busy in his job and a curveball gets thrown his way, he just keeps on smiling, solving problems, and acting like it's nothing. Mr. Cooksey faces challenging situations each and every day where he puts his creative problem-solving skills to use in support of families who find themselves in difficult situations. He approaches each challenge with urgency, sensitivity, and the utmost concern. He is always positive, being in constant contact with the school, monitoring the situation, ensuring that the child gets to school each day to learn. Then there is the unavoidable issue of poor road conditions, making the drive to school tenuous. Imagine all those phone calls pouring into the school system and numerous comments from unhappy parents. Even when Hugh is blamed for the bad weather, he just smiles and keeps on going. And let's not forget behavioral challenges he has to deal with, and the school's administrators' relief when they learn that Mr. Cooksey is on it. Bus videos are delivered quickly and concerns are addressed from all perspectives. He works as an investigator and a mediator with all parties involved. Through these collaborations, problems are identified and resolved. He is always happy to speak directly with parents, and his strong diplomatic skills enable him to restore calm and trust. School principals all agree about how incredibly responsive Mr. Cooksey is in their every concern. Whether it's special needs children who are struggling on the bus, a behavioral concern, or a community issue, Hugh addresses it instantly and thoroughly. He is a strong communicator and fully supports everyone he is in contact with, from the bus drivers and bus company owners to the school staff and parents. Mr. Cooksey listens, takes quick, appropriate actions, and solves all concerns. Hugh Cooksey, you are a proactive problem solver and a collaborative teammate. Your kind, caring demeanor shows your sincere and compassionate side. Your first commitment is, is to the students and their safety, and this is evident in your prompt and thorough response to anything that arises. So on behalf of the Board of Education and the students, staff, and parents of Anne Arundel County Public Schools, we are honored to recognize you as Employee of the Month for June 2016. Congratulations.
Yeah. I don't want to say. I thought I was coming for a public participation individual who was going to talk about a problem with transportation. Not the issue.
Well, here's a lovely certificate and a bell that I definitely did not leave in the back room.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
My wife, Roseanne, my son, my daughter, and their families all came in. I guess they all knew about this. Thank you.
Item 2.08 is Volunteer of the Month, Mrs. Birch.
Thank you. During this school year, over 18,000 school volunteers dedicated their time and talents to benefit our AACPS students. Usually, volunteers work in a particular niche, matching their unique knowledge and skill set to meet a particular school need. However, June's Volunteer of the Month awardee must be a specialist in human relations and marketing, event planning, STEM program promotion, motivational speaker, and parking lot design. Today, the Board of Education is proud to honor this multi-talented Volunteer of the Month, Mrs. Kathy Hayes, for her unwavering dedication to enrich student school experiences, support teachers, and enhance the school environment of Ridgeway Elementary School. For over 10 years, Kathy has accepted countless opportunities to refine her wide-ranging skills. She's held numerous PTA board positions, including president, and has served as coordinator of Ridgeway's volunteer program, Teacher Appreciation Week, Parent Information Nights, and many more. Kathy consistently inspires others to volunteer and keeps them engaged by optimizing their skills and routinely showing appreciation for their contributions. Fellow PTA board member Amy Eckloff writes, Kathy embodies an outstanding spirit of volunteerism and inclusion in everything she coordinates. The most impressive example is Kathy's willingness to serve, for 10 years now, as science fair coordinator. Months before each year's event, Kathy plans with teachers, gathers volunteers, and recruits judges from local businesses. She helps teachers inspire over 100 enthusiastic students to participate in this yearly STEM highlight. Over the following weeks, Kathy lends support to students as they research, form questions, experiment, draw conclusions, and finally create their project displays. Kathy ensures all projects are thoughtfully exhibited and helps to organize class visits and the evening science fair open house. Finally, Kathy spearheads a school-wide science fair awards assembly to honor each participant's extracurricular effort. Principal Lisa Colonel observes, it's clear that Mrs. Hayes has a direct impact on the students and staff at Ridgeway Elementary through her dedication to our annual science fair event. Recently, Mrs. Hayes turned her attention to an eroded grassy area used for years as Ridgeway's additional parking. Now, thanks to Kathy's tireless efforts, Ridgeway is on the county's parking lot upgrade list, and a temporary fix of gravel is in place. This is over and above, writes Amy Eckloff, and shows her dedication to our school and community. Mrs. Hayes, thank you for devoting these years of exemplary volunteer work to benefit the students, staff, and families of Ridgeway Elementary School. Would you please come forward? With great appreciation, I would like to present this Volunteer of the Month certificate and bell to you.
Congratulations. See, even I know about the parking issues because I know you've been here to see us about them before. So here's the certificate for you, and here's your bell for Volunteer of the Month. So why did they tell you that you were going to be here? Was it about the parking? About parking. I thought, I've been working hard on pictures and my argument. I was ready. I thought it would be about the parking. And I noticed that a lot of people came in to see you. So who's here with you to celebrate
my
today?
family, my husband, my parents, and my sister, and I have the school counselor, Ms. Brower, who I've worked on many things with, and I have my PTA friends there. They're Amy and Karen and Kristen, and I'm shocked. So, well, thank you so much for everything that you do for the kids at Ridgeway and for the kids in our county. We couldn't do it without volunteers like you, so we really appreciate it. And congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Item 2.09 is school and community highlights. Mr. Gilliland.
Thank you, Madam President. Last week I had the privilege of going to Cat North twice in one day. We had the evening ceremony. I was glad to be joined by Mrs. Hummer for that. But then earlier that day, that picture was not supposed to be shared. Earlier that day, I was pleased to represent the board as the truck that you see on the slide there was donated by Purdue Farms. It's a donation of a 2011 International Pro Star sleeper truck. Hope I got that right. It's a donation that was valued at about $24,000. And in essence, what it does is it gives students the ability to have additional hands-on learning. I was just amazed at the excitement of the students when the truck came. It was pulled in by a massive tow truck. And, you know, as the truck was being released, the students were already picking it apart and identifying various parts of it. But in all seriousness, though, it really shows some of the great, again, this is just one example, but it really shows some of the great things that can happen with our business partnerships, and certainly hats off to Purdue Farms. I'm a child of the 80s, so, you know, I don't think there was an hour of TV commercials that didn't go by when, you know, what was it? It takes a tough man to make a tender chicken. Was what I was raised listening to. But and you know, I remember going down to Ocean City. I guess I was 7 or 8 years old, and you know, you would see the chickens on the trucks. And I remember my mom telling me the sad story of where those chickens were going to. But seriously, you know, hats off to Cat North, the students, Mr. Schaffhauser, the principal. He was my 7th grade teacher at Lindale, and just an amazing person who's doing great things at Cat North. So thank you for this time.
Mrs. Hummer.
I love this time of year. Everything's wrapping up, all the celebrations, including Cat North. I've been to 3 graduations in the past week, Northeast and Chesapeake, Science Point, and Annapolis, and they're all just awesome, just great celebrations. So that's been great fun. I had the pleasure of going to some of the Ridgeway crowd that's here, to the Ridgeway Invitational a couple weeks ago, the 17th year of the Ridgeway Invitational, which is 5 different schools that come together with some of the special needs students and do a run, jump, and throw, and it was great fun. And such a well-organized, wonderful event, so many community people in, and it was a beautiful day, the first day in a month that it hadn't rained, so they controlled the weather at Ridgeway, and so it was a great day and thoroughly enjoyed that. Kathy did it. Kathy organizes parking and controls the weather, and so it was a beautiful day for Ridgeway. Mr. Gillen and I had the pleasure of going out to Southern High School week before last, right in time for Memorial Day. The signature program out there, mostly 9th and 10th graders, created an amazing project. They did a series of interviews with Maryland Vietnam vets, and it was, so the veterans were there. This was a fabulous program. They showed us a couple of the interviews that they'd done, and they worked closely with the Maryland Humanities Council and the Maryland State Archives, and it's actually they're donating the project to the Maryland State Archives, so it will all be there. And it really was phenomenal and so well done. And the professors, from the college professors who helped them on it, said that these 9th graders were doing the work of undergraduate college students. They, you know, that the quality of their work was so high. So it was very impressive and very great example of our signature programs at work and the special things that are going on in the schools. And that was, I've requested, I said I'd love a CD of the whole project to have so that we could see. So was a wonderful event. And hats off to Teresa Tudor and her team for a fabulous volunteer tea, which is always a great hit to see the hundreds and hundreds of volunteers that help out with AACPS every year. And it was a great morning, and so many ideas of things that, you know, I want to go to. Which was the school that has the drum corps? The Southgate? Southgate has the drum team. You know, things like that. I'm like, gosh, I want to go and do all of these things. So there's just great ideas to come out, and that was a great event. And one last one, we had a wonderful tour and event at Pasadena Elementary to celebrate their Blue Ribbon School for the state of Maryland. And you can totally see why they are a Blue Ribbon School. They were so welcoming, and everybody was so enthusiastic, and it was a great day there. So it's been a lot of fun. Looking forward to I think I have 3 more graduations this week. Looking forward to all of them. So,
Mrs. Pickard.
Well, I also was at the volunteer recognition team. It was fantastic. I think there were 850 people in that room, which is really, really exciting. And to Mrs. Hayes, just so you know, my first trip to the boardroom was as Volunteer of the Month in December 2012. So think about it. Graduation season is fantastic. I go to a different event, whether it's science fair, and I always think, oh, this is the best event I've been to. Severna Park's graduation and then Glen Burnie's graduation yesterday, just fantastic. I have I have been bitten by the graduation bug. So I think I've added one today. So see how many graduations I can go to. I might not see my kids for 2 weeks, but so congratulations to the class of 2016 across the county. Fantastic. Thanks.
Mrs. Nally.
Well, I'd like to echo my colleagues' remarks about graduations. I attended Broadneck and South River High School. It is my 9th year to attend each of those graduations. And so it's hard to believe I've been on the board that long. It's hard to believe I've gotten old on the board. But anyway, I loved the graduations. I'm just enjoy them all the time. It was really fun to see my Davidsonville 3rd graders when I left Davidsonville walk across the stage. So that was pretty exciting. And so I just want to say congratulations to the staff, the students, the parents, and all who make these graduations. It is a lot of work, and they are, as Mrs. Pickard said, they're wonderful. Thank you.
I also want to thank Teresa Tudor and her staff for the wonderful volunteer tea. It was a great celebration of 800 and some people. It was amazing. And I wanted to share a little bit about an event that happened on May 22nd at the Hippodrome in Baltimore City. For those of you who don't know, there's a high school Tony Awards all over the country, and we're a part of the Baltimore region. And we had Broadneck, Glen Burnie, Annapolis, South River, Old Mill, Severna Park, and Chesapeake all had nominations from either their plays or their musicals from this school year. And we took home, Anne Arundel County Public Schools took home 4 Cappies for Annapolis. They got Best Critic Team, Best Junior Critic, Best Orchestra, and Best Featured Actress in a Musical. South River won Best Featured Actor in a Play. Old Mill won 2 Cappies, Female Vocalist, and Best Supporting Actor in a Musical. Severna Park won Best Supporting Actress in a Play, and Chesapeake won Best Supporting Actor in a Play. So we have a lot of talent here in Anne Arundel County. And the awesome thing for these kids was they got to perform a scene either from the play or the musical on the Hippodrome stage. And they were all dressed up in their tuxedos and their ball gowns, like from prom. It looked like prom all over again. And it was just a fantastic evening for the arts. So if you've never been to Cappy's, next May, flag your calendar and find out when it is. It's just an amazing experience. And I'm also going through graduation season. Yesterday, my daughter graduated from Annapolis High School, and I was honored to be able to give the graduation speech with my son in the audience as a teacher, my daughter graduating, and I only choked up once. So thank you all. Item 2.10 is our CAC report.
Good morning, Dr. Arlotto, President Korbelak, and members of the board. I'm Karma O'Neill, the outgoing CAC chair, and here with me today, I have the incoming CAC chair, Melanie Teichert, and the vice chair, Kelly Purnell. So they've joined us so that they can step into this spot. We are in the process of reviewing applications for our open CAC seats, and we'll have a list to you hopefully by your July board meeting. We've got a nice stack of applications, so we have a good pool to choose from. The CAC committees have submitted year-end reports, and I hope that you received them, and I apologize for the delay on that. And I have some highlights, and we're here to help answer some questions if you have questions about them. As far as highlights go, the testing committee found that there seems to be some confusion among parents about overall testing and suggest working better on communication between the schools. Some aspects of the testing differ from school to school based on the school leadership, and we kind of want to see if that can become more in line. And parents expressed some concern over loss of academic interventions during several of the week-long testing periods. And we want to see if that's something that we can work towards, not losing those intervention times for the kids that most need it for the standardized tests. Moving on to grading policy, the introduction of the quarterly assessments has been fairly well received. There are some questions about the content and is it really being testing on being what's taught. And then there's strong concerns about the retake policy, and the committee actually said the staff revisions were addressed. The community's concerns were addressed by the staff. We appreciate that and love the new form of the policy. So thank you very much in that. Moving on to communication, the communication committee reviewed the Anne Arundel County website, all of the websites for all of the schools in the county, and as many of the PTA and PTO websites as they could find. A huge undertaking for a 3-person committee, but they did their job. They talked about digital communications being the most valuable means of communication, and many of the websites are not up to date. In fact, Allison's former school still lists her as PTA president from 2012. So they have not updated that, as an example. One of their biggest recommendations, as you'll see, was that a district-wide website that's completely revamped so that parents can use it, find information easily, and add in a calendar of events that list all of that. For instance, I've never heard of the Cappies, and wouldn't it be great if that was on a school calendar of events? Moving into equity, the committee members need to actively participate in subcommittees. They want to, and they request that a CAC member be appointed to the Blue Ribbon Commission to help keep that ongoing and have more of a say from the clusters. And then school expenses, there is a vast array, and you probably don't have that report because it is so large that it's still being condensed. But there's a huge difference in the elementary school lists depending on where you go. It could range from $35 a student to $125 a student. As a second grader, whether you are in, for instance, a Germantown or in Shipley's Choice, elementary school. So there's a huge discrepancy of what we're asking individual grade levels to bring to the table as far as school supplies. The committee is continuing to compile our data, and you will have a more comprehensive report on that. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Are there questions?
I just want to thank you for your service.
Thank you.
We've really appreciated it.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Dr. Frank, do you have a question?
I just wanted to say thank you very much for coming here and being an outside independent source of information that will help all of us. So thank you for helping, and I look forward to whoever you're going to bring to us then to follow up on your experience.
Okay. Thank you.
Mrs. Hummer.
Yes, again, one more. I've read all the committee reports the past couple of days, and thank you. There's some great recommendations in there, and I know we really valued y'all's input with the policies, with the redo policies and things, and I look forward to that one on the school fees, because that's always, as a mother of many children in elementary school, that's always an issue at the beginning of every fall, so I look forward to that one. Thank y'all for all your work.
Great.
All right, we're going to take a break for pictures, and we'll be back for public comment. We'll move on to the public comment portion of the meeting. Anyone wishing to speak on an item not on today's agenda may offer testimony during this public comment portion of the meeting. Speakers will be allotted 3 minutes each, and the board asks that comments remain civil and appropriate for the various audiences that may be watching or viewing the meeting. Student-specific and personnel matters are confidential and cannot be discussed in this forum. This time is intended for speakers to voice their opinion and not necessarily as a question and answer period. Speakers may pose questions, but answers will be counted toward the 3-minute allotment. For the record, please give your name before speaking, and handouts should be given to the board assistant. I only have one completed card. Julia House. Oh, okay, then we'll call you up later. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Okay. We'll move on to action items. Item 4.01, administrative personnel appointments. Dr. Arlato, your recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend that the personnel listed on the attached sheets be promoted and or appointed.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion passes 9-0-0. And I'd like to congratulate Monique Jackson on her new role as our deputy superintendent. She's working.
She's out in schools.
Item 4.02, personnel. Dr. Arlato, your recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend that the board approve the actions as stipulated on the attached sheets.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion passes 9-0-0. Item 4.03 is an information to action item, the 2016 Educational Facilities Master Plan. Do I have a motion to move this from information to action?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Favor? We now have an action item. Dr. Arlato, your recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend the approval of the 2016 Educational Facilities Master Plan.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any board questions or comments? Is there any public comment on this item? All those in favor? Motion passes 9-0-0. That was easy. Thank you.
Gentlemen. Great work. Thank you.
We now have 3 policies up for first reading. The first is item 4.04. This is an information item only. Salary deductions policy GACC. And we have a short presentation.
Yes. Jessica Kutches, Policy and Legislative Counsel for the record. The Division of Human Resources brings policy GACC to you for first reading. It was last updated January 20th, 1993. The updated policy combines 2 existing policies to establish regular pay schedules and eligible salary deductions for employees. The policy will be posted on our website for 30 days for public comment, and we welcome any questions you have related to this policy.
I don't have any board questions. Is there any public comment? All right, so this will go up on the web for 30 days of comment, right?
Yes.
Item 4.05, also an information item, policy GBE, classes of teachers' certificates.
The Division of Human Resources also brings policy GBE to you for first reading. This policy was last updated November 7th, 1990, and the updated policy and new regulation provide information regarding compliance with certification requirements for Maryland educators. The policy will be posted on our website for 30 days for public comment, and we'll answer any questions that you have related to it.
Mrs. Birch.
I just thank you for moving our policies away from quoting law and saying that we're going to do what the law says instead, because that is just too much work for us to have to update a policy every time a law changes. So thank you very much.
Is there any public comment on that item? Okay, item 4.06, also an information item, policy GBL, part-time teachers, first reading.
The Division of Human Resources also brings this policy to you for first reading, last updated November 7th, 1990, and the updated policy provides information regarding part-time positions in our school system. If you have any questions about this policy, we will answer them at this time, and it will be posted on our website for 30 days for public comment.
I don't have any board questions. Is there any public comment? All right. Thank you all. The next item on the agenda is a review item, the award of contracts. Are there any board questions or comments? Is there any public comment? Ms. Sasso.
AVID Center? Avid Center. My question is, and the first line contractor shall continue to provide AACPS with membership. How much is their membership?
So Alex Chaknovich, Chief Operating Officer, we'd have to disaggregate that information because this is lump sum, but there is essentially a subscription fee. Avid is a copyrighted sort of canned program, and you have to essentially pay a user fee to access the curriculum, to have your folks enrolled in the training, et cetera. But we can certainly look at disaggregating those different components.
Okay, is it paid on a yearly basis?
Yes.
Do you know?
Right. Well, the materials that we buy is as a consume basis, but the membership is a yearly. The training is depending on how many people we have trained. The materials are depending on how many materials of instruction kits we buy, et cetera. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there any public comment? All right, we'll move on to consent items. Award of contracts. This is an information to action item. I'd like a motion to bundle 6.01 to 6.17 and move them from information to action. So moved. All those in favor? We now have an action item. Dr. Arlato, your recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend that the Board of Education award contracts as listed on today's agenda, 6.01 through 6.17 inclusive.
Mrs. Hummer?
Shady Side is getting an addition and open wall enclosure. Are those going to be done at the same time?
Yes, ma'am. Pending availability of funds, it's our intention to receive the funding and execute the project within the same fiscal year. The addition can likely very easily will get done in a one-year time frame. The open walls is probably going to occur over the course of 2 summers because of the amount of rotation that you have to do with space inside of the building. So simply the practicality of doing that will stretch the walls project out for a school like Shadyside. We work closely with the administration at the school to determine how many teaching spaces at a time can they free up so that we can do some of the work while it's occupied and then do the majority of it in the summer, and then we have to slow down again a little bit when we get into a occupancy period, and then that second summer we'll do the final last chunk of it. So in all likelihood that will stretch out a little bit longer than the addition will be.
But they'll be going hopefully concurrently.
Concurrently, yes ma'am, that's the intention.
Okay, thank you.
Mrs. Sasso?
On the award of the contract for the roof replacement at Jones Elementary School, 613. My question is, does it come with warranties? When we do the roofs, do they get warranties?
So yes, ma'am, the state of Maryland, in order to be eligible for state funding, the state of Maryland requires that we purchase what's called a 10-year NDL. NDL is a no dollar limit manufacturer's warranty. So there's a 10-year warranty from the manufacturer, and then there's a 2-year workmanship warranty from the installer typically.
Okay, thank you.
Mrs. Hummer?
I have a question on 6.16, the bus routes. So this one says it's for non-public bus routes. So these are for our non-public schools. Does this encompass all of our routes for the non-public schools, or is it just a portion of them?
No, ma'am, it's a portion. And this is true of all of our bus routes. We never want to be exposed, essentially, to having all of our routes essentially fail at the same time, or the impact of a contractor possibly failing. So the rebidding cycle is stretched out over a number of years. We only rebid a portion of those routes, and that's really protective for us should there be some sort of catastrophic failure with a contractor, a vendor, something like that. At least the amount of effort to recover from that would be minimized because you know, the school system as a whole wouldn't be. So it's just a portion, and each and every year we just do a portion of the
Okay.
county on a rotating basis.
So, and this, it just happens to be a specific non-public routes that
Correct.
came up this
But
time.
but again, there are typically more than that, and that's the way we operate on all of our routes, with the exception of course, the special education with the lift buses, because we self-perform those.
Thank you.
Ms. Sasso?
On the bus routes too, I have a question, just because the amount of rejections that were to say, there were 15 rejections, and out of them, 7 were to Crofton. Any specific reason? It's just that,
Again, we'd
I
have
don't know
to,
that-
they- I mean, they were deemed non-responsive. We do debrief directly with the contractors. Typically, if they want, any contractor that doesn't prevail in a solicitation, they're all extended an offer to come in and meet with us, and we can go over the paperwork and explain to them in greater detail why they weren't selected for whatever a variety of reasons might be, so that the next time they bid, that they can, you know, do things more accurately or more in line with what the solicitation is.
it's just that I saw that only 1 was given to them, and I just wanted to know how come so many were rejected by
Right.
that company. Okay, thank you.
Julia House?
Good morning. My name is Julia House. I'm a proud parent of a student at Shadyside Elementary. My husband and I were excited to enroll our child in the same school that we attended back in the early 1990s. It's also the same school that her grandfather attended back in 1970s. There is a sense of pride knowing that we were a part of the school and now that our child attends. However, it is literally the same school that we went to. We are excited to see these items on the consent form, and we hope that you vote yes for both 6.04 and 6.05. We do have a question, and you did answer one of them already, but we were wondering if the project was going to start this summer over 2016 and continue until 2018, or if it would wait until 2017. And then our second question was, how much would students be interrupted? Would they stay within the school, or would there be any construction that would require them to attend a different school during that time period?
So the answer to the questions posed, naturally it's speculative because the funding for these projects wouldn't arrive until the FY18 budget, so if funded. The monies to execute the projects wouldn't be available. To begin the execution phase of the actual construction would be available until July 1st of 2018. So we plan to, July 1st, 2017. We plan to use the time between July 1 of 16 and June of 17 to do the designs, to get the permits, to do the bidding activities, such that if we are funded July 1 of 17, we would be able to begin the construction that year, with the idea that hopefully we would have the majority of it completed by August of 18. Again, pending availability of funding. Regarding the disruption to the students, as I said earlier, we work closely with the Office of School Performance and the administrators of all of those schools to work out the logistics. We have not yet done a project that's open space to require students to be relocated to another school, so I wouldn't anticipate that would occur here.
Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor? Motion passes 900. I just have a couple of announcements. The next Board Policy Committee meeting is Wednesday, June 8th at 1 p.m. The next Board of Education meeting is Wednesday, June 22nd at 10 a.m. And the next board budget committee meeting is also Wednesday, June 22nd, 1 hour after the conclusion of the board meeting. Mrs. Nally.
I move that we go into closed session to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice on a legal matter and to conduct collective bargaining negotiations or consider matters that relate to the negotiations.
All those in favor? We're now in closed session. Thank you.